What's up, y'all? So today we gonna briefly go over the compressor. This is more of an introductory lesson of the compressor. And pretty much what a compressor does is kind of what the name insinuates that it does, compresses the sound. Pretty much taking the louder sounds and the softer sounds and pushing both of those together kind of into its middle self. So you got more of a thicker sound. So whereas like the original volume signal might have been a bit dissipated, now you got something that's more compact. So you get more of that, more of the sound, the original thickness of that sound. So let's go ahead. We're gonna choose a track, load that up. All right, so if we like zoom in, you can see like the peak. Let me actually open it up. So you'll see you have this sound here, you have this transient that's like this big, but then you have like this signal here that's only this big. So the compressor is gonna expand this sound while reducing this sound to make these a bit more even, so you got like a more consistent sound throughout the whole loop. So the way to pull up the compressor is if you see in between setting and EQ, there's like this bar right here. You could click that and you'll pull up the compressor that way. The other way to do it is actually going to your audio effects, going down to dynamics and going over to compressor. All right, so this is the compressor. Now, if this is your first time looking at a compressor, try not to like get confused by looking at every little minute detail. Kind of look in with any plugin that you open up in Logic. Try to look at everything in sections, right? So this left side, you have your input gain. So this is the signal that's going into the compressor, right? So you would be able to increase the signal or decrease the amount that's going into the compressor. Be careful going to the right. If you like your speakers, be careful going to the right. Let me actually loop this sound. So to loop, you want to make sure the ruler is like highlighted right here. If it's not, if it's like a light gray, but it's kind of within that section, you could just hit the letter C. If not, like you could, if your clip is highlighted, hit Command U, so you can loop that region that's highlighted. So now that we got our loop and our compressor is on, we ain't got to worry about the sound stopping. All right, so cool. So again, you want to look at everything in sections. So the left side is your input signal. This is the signal going into the compressor. Up top, you have your different compressor emulations. So you have your platinum digital, which is more of like a well-rounded compressor. You have your VCAs, which is your voltage control amplifiers. These are really good for like your bass tones. You have your FETs, your field effect transistors. Those are good for like that mid, like if you want like a more like crunchy type sound, or more just like a warm sound within like the mid-range frequencies. This is really good, and it has a fast response time, so this is good for drums. And then you have your optical, so it's also a fast responding compressor, better for your vocals and guitars and stuff like that. So again, these are your different compressor emulators. You have your meter or your graph. So this is how you can see. This is how you see how your compressor is affecting your signal. So you can look at the meter, reducing about 5 dB, or you can look at the graph and you'll see that the compressor is ducking those transients up there. All right. Down here are your actual, like these are your main controls that affects your compressor. So you have your threshold, which sets when the compressor is going to engage. You have your ratio, which determines the depth of how the compressor is going to affect the sound. You have your makeup gain. So after you find like the tonality that you like, this is how you increase or decrease the tone of that compressed signal. You have your knee, which is how smooth the compressor engages. You have your attack, which determines how fast the compressor is going to start. And then you have your release, which determines how fast your compressor is going to end, to say the least. You have an auto gain here. You have a limiter that you can turn on, and you have a threshold for your limiter to control those like last peaks. And again, like this section on the right is more for like your output, like, or like finalizing your output, I should say. Down here you have your mix, so you can control whether you want to blend that input signal with the fully compressed output signal, and maybe like a median in between those. You have your distortion clippers, soft clipper, hard clipper for like those transient sounds. And then you have your output gain. So this is the signal of what's going to be heard, or the volume of the signal once you're complete. You're also able to side chain. So if you wanted to, let's say you want to duck this sound with another instrument or whatever the case may be, you're able to, if we had like another instrument, we could select, let's say, a drum kick to duck this sound whenever that drum did get hit. So yeah, that's an overall like walkthrough of the different sections of the compressor. And yeah, at this point you kind of just play around with it, right? Turn down that makeup gain. So if I wanted like more of a fast compression, I have a fast attack, fast release. If I wanted a slower compression, will increase the smoothness of the knee. You could change when the threshold begins to act, or the compressor begins to act with the threshold. Change the rate. So now we got a deeper compression now that we increase the ratio. And you'll see here like it's cutting a lot of the transient frequencies up here. Add some auto gain if you need it. Turn down some makeup. Add a little clip distortion. And then you can blend it once you find the sound you like. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the overview of the compressor. Once again, your left is your input gain, the signal that's going into the compressor. Feel me? Again, up top, you have the different compressor emulators. You got the meter where you're able to see how much you are compressing. These are your main controls over here. And then these are like your final touches of the output sound.